What's up, good people? My name's AJ, and today I'm talking about what I'm doing now post CFA exam, what role I'm working in, and if it's changed at all from the CFA exams, and how I'm using the information taken from those exams in my day-to-day professional life. Basically, within the finance industry, I would classify my role as wealth management, and I think you can kind of branch off from there. But to be more general about it, investing clients' assets on their behalf is the general theme of the role. And I'm working at the same company that I started off with when I began the CFA program, and until now, and really enjoying the job. It has shifted a little bit, so I'll talk about that too. One of the questions I've gotten is, what jobs have you been able to get after passing the CFA exams, and or are you still stuck in the same role? And I'm still in the same role. I wouldn't say I'm stuck, but I'm also not, looking at other opportunities. I get recruiters on LinkedIn here and there and things like that, emails and some phone calls, but I haven't been looking for anything else because I enjoy my job really well. I like the company where I work for, and it has a lot of aspects about it that I like. I like the people I work with. So, I'll talk about what my role looked like before to what it looks like now for sure, because it has changed a bit, but it hasn't been as much of a change as people who switch jobs after earning the CFA charter. And a lot of people get into the CFA program for that reason, giving them the opportunity to make a career switch. And it can work pretty well to that front. That was never my goal with the program, so I haven't tried to leverage it all in that regard. But a lot of other people would tell you that after passing level two, I got a raise, or after passing level three, I was, becoming a charter holder, I could jump into the industry or get a promotion or this or that. But just from my own experience, I want to share with you where I'm at now and how my position has changed a little bit. So in the firm I work at, my title has changed a bit too. That's probably worth mentioning. I guess I would call it associate now, and that's not too specific. In finance, an analyst can be someone that works in computer systems or in the sales force of a product or working on a product, an investment research analyst, an equity analyst. So associate, can it be applied in a similar light? And that term in and of itself doesn't mean all that much, but basically it's maybe a second tier level within the firm. More specifically, though, part of my job is working on the investment committee in the wealth management firm that I work at. And of course, that work is the work that's most applicable to what I've learned through the CFA program. I'd say half of my work is kind of directly client facing, and then the other half is more related to investments, performance, analysis, comparisons, things like that. So there probably has been some small impact to how I conduct my work on the client-facing half of my position, my role, but primarily the bigger change or the bigger application of the principles and the topics learned through the CFA program can be applied to the other half of my role, which primarily deals with managing investments, some trading, and investment decision making. So the firm I work for is a smaller firm, which generally means that each person in that firm has a higher degree of responsibility towards a certain aspect of how that firm works. And that's not a knock, or that's not a um, pro or con versus working at like a large investment bank or anything. Basically, what it means is that when there are less individuals on a team, rather than having an entire division devoted towards one topic, you might have one or two people devoted towards one topic or task. So you have to make sure that A, you're getting that thing done, otherwise it just doesn't happen at all. And also B, that you're doing a good job at that thing because there's less back and forth between colleagues on decision making. So it's just important when you're on a smaller team that that each person does their job well. I like to think that I'm able to do that, and some of that maybe largely due to the fact that I've passed the CFA program. So within the investment committee at the firm that I work, I originally started off kind of gathering information, pulling reports, presenting that information to maybe more of like the decision makers. Throughout the program, kind of have moved to that decision making type position, and now I'm the leader of that investment committee. It's a smaller group of people, but through the CFA program have I'd say through the CFA program and also through just the work that I've done in the firm, have shown the level of responsibility, I guess I would say, or intellect, or capacity to be able to serve as the leader on that investment committee. So that's really the bigger shift that I've seen in my own role in terms of career advancement from finishing the CFA program, is just becoming the leader of that investment committee and probably the primary decision maker on it as well. I might make another video describing kind of my day-to-day and what that work specifically looks like. You know, if you work for a smaller wealth management office or a family office or anything like that, you probably know pretty well what I'm talking about. But if you work for a bigger organization and you're one of 100 or 1,000 that works on a team towards a specific goal, it would just be really different. So I don't want to get too much into literally what I pull up on my screen and what I send to people or how I conduct those meetings. Just know that the level of influence has gotten to a kind of a leadership position when you become the leader of that committee in the firm. And so again, a lot of the things that I talk about and a lot of the metrics that I use or ways that we measure performance go back to things that I've learned through the CFA program primarily. So I would say that's been a pretty big benefit to me. Again, I'm kind of dividing my current role in two different ways. One, client facing, so all of our investors or clients that work with us, just talking with them, that's not as much affected by the CFA program. The investment related work is much more so. And I guess there might be a third category there, which is just some day-to-day trade activities that you could also argue is slightly affected by skills or just principles learned through the CFA program. Ethics falls into a lot of those types of things, conversations with clients. I don't think ethics really falls too much into the investment decision-making work because that's more, there's no like gray area there. It's just more black and white. Is something working or is it not, I guess. But maybe thirdly, that smaller trading category, just placing orders, making transactions for clients' accounts. Ethics does become more relevant there because you have to think about things like dissemination of information or I don't make any transactions in similar securities as my clients, but timely order execution, other things like that come into consideration, and that's all related to the CFA ethics curriculum. So I would say that that one has an impact on it too. That's just a smaller portion of the work that I directly do. So let me know what kind of questions you have. Again, if you were in a introductory type role in wealth management and you wanted to get to a client-facing role like an advisor role or you know, anything else that require a more educational background, I'm sure the CFA could help be a catalyst or a springboard to get you to those positions, and you could start to leverage that accomplishment through recruiters or just through new firms if you were looking to make a job switch, which I know is what a lot of people use the charter for. Just being happy in my current position, I don't have any reason to want to make a job switch. I will continue to use the information learned through the charter to try to optimize the process that we use in the firm where I work and also build on that information, my knowledge base, as well as the information that the firm that I work at uses to make those investment decisions. And a lot of that can be, you know, channeled back to information garnered through the CFA program. So I would say it's helpful, it's beneficial. I'm glad that I have that charter behind me, but also glad to be able to utilize that information in an effective way for a lot of our clients, you know, over thousands of clients. So it has been helpful in those regards. Let me know if anyone here wants to hear more about specifics of day-to-day type things. I might make a day in the life video in the future too. But for right now, those are just my thoughts on how the CFA program and having the charter has affected my work.